Coach, the possession game is always so, important for your group. How much did the turnovers, offensive rebounds, contribute to the loss tonight?
That was huge right there. 21 offensive rebounds. I think, you get the initial stop. You got to come up with the board so you can finish the possession, so you can get out and run and get some easy baskets. The way they defended, made it tough on us to get shots in the half court. Again, and then turn it over 19 times for 20 points. That's a hard recipe to come away with a win, but you got to give them credit. Made shots tough on us, both at the rim and the threes. Again, we shoot 14% from the three-point line with some good looks. It just didn't fall.
What do you think happened in the fourth quarter for your team's offense to slow down as much as it did, and what would you have liked to have seen instead?
I would have liked to see the ball go in the basket. That would be nice. You got to give, Philly credit for the way they defended at the rim. A lot of times we got down there, same call that Joel Embiid was getting. Our guy, P was down there trying to finish at the rim, getting hit, but they're not going to get those calls. And so our ability to finish through contact, but again, we also have to do a better job in the initial stages of taking care of the basketball, finishing possessions out, and then you don't get to that point.
We've seen this team kind of have these back and forth efforts where you have a good rebounding game or good game with low turnovers, and then you come back the next night. How do you find consistency? I know maybe we're making too much of the win-loss thing, but how do you find consistency right now?
That's a good question. It's a very good question, and I think it's just finding ways to look in that mirror and say how you got to approach it every single night, no matter who you play. You're never going to control if shots fall. You can't do that. But you can control the effort on a simple box out to make sure we're hitting guys to finish the possession. When we run in space to attack the basket. Those are pieces that those are things you can't control. And tonight, obviously 21 rebounds, we didn't do that. We didn't do our job there. And then our ability to take care of the basketball, being in the right spot at the right time, shooting when you're open, putting two on the ball, making the right decision.
These fourth quarter struggles happen in Brooklyn. It seems to happen again tonight. Is the pace of play part of the reason why maybe you're not getting as many executed plays in the fourth quarter, or what would you think is the reason behind these fourth quarter struggles?
Yeah, going back and look at the film, there's a few reasons. I think teams are turning up the heat defensively, so they're not allowing you to execute. If you look back at the Brooklyn game, they came back and junked up the game. They started trapping, running, double teams, blitzes, so you're not really executing. You're just trying to find a way to get the ball in the paint attack to keep it away from turnovers. Tonight, Philly did a somewhat similar situation. Aggressively, we got downhill, but we got to come off the ball a little quicker. I think that's a big portion of it. Give them credit for how they played physical, how they attacked the ball, and how they got us to turn the basketball over.
When Maxi's hitting shots like that, is there anything you want to see differently from the defense to change the game plan, or do you just have to live with certain tough shots?
Yeah, Maxi hits tough shots. That's what he's capable of doing. The one time we get into his body, physical with him, you get a hand check foul down the stretch that hadn't been really called all game. I just think, his ability to, put pressure on the rim as well as knock shots down, he makes it a tough cover and tough matchup. Now they have shooting all over the board, so the moment you try to get it out of his hands, that's when you see those guys knocking shots down on the other side. So it's a little bit of making it a tough two versus him all the way to the rim.
We talked pregame about your team's ability to bounce back from these losses, but what's the emotion you sense in the locker room after a night like tonight, with the stretch that you guys are coming off of? Is it frustration, disappointment? How are the guys trying to take ownership of this?
It's frustration. Nobody likes to lose. I think, nobody's happy about taking an L and the way in which we did it, not playing our style of basketball.
How's Tristan doing?
His back spasmed up, and so we'll see how he is tomorrow.
Coach, quick turnaround, another opportunity on Sunday before you go across the pond. Just talk a little bit about another opportunity on Sunday and looking to earn a W.
That's exactly what it is. This group always does a heck of a job of bouncing back. The resiliency and that they understand exactly how we need to play from the beginning jump ball to the end final buzzer. 48 minutes of playing a certain style of basketball, and that's what we've got to get to. And that consistency is going to help as soon as we can, as well as soon as we start to get bodies back. That'll help as well.
How big has Wendell's skill set, being able to attack closeouts, been for this team? Where on a night like tonight, he's 1 for 6 from 3, but still 5 for 7 on 2s, and a lot of those coming from just pump fakes and driving, and very rare for a center to have that handle and finishing skill.
And I think it's great that he can do that. You know, his ability to knock shots down, and they have to honor it. So when he does get the pump fake, he's able to get to the basket.
You don't want to pin everything on one player, perhaps, but it seemed like Paolo was getting frustrated a little bit with the lack of calls that he was getting. What do you need to say to him?
It's frustrating. I would be too. I absolutely would be frustrated too. And I'm not going into the whole call, no call. We lost a good official tonight, and Billy Kennedy. I don't know. I went down, so they had 2 officials. So, I see their side of it a little bit too. But there's a frustration that Joel goes in there and just falls and gets the call, and Paolo goes in there. Not the same call. Not saying it's equal in some ways, but at the end of the day, like if we're attacking the basket that much, there's got to be some contact happening a little bit there.
Then and kind of just kind of adjusting to that. What do you need to say to him, or what do you need to do to have him maybe adjust or kind of fight through some of that frustration to kind of stay in the game and give this team what they need from one of their leaders?
I'd be frustrated too. If I'm going down there and getting my arm grabbed, arm hit at the basket, I'd be frustrated as well. And then to go down the other end, it's not the same call. I would be frustrated too. Now, there's a level that you have to play through, and he continued to play through and still attack the basket the same way, and still no call. But at the end of the day, like, we've got to continue to keep getting better at that and not compare it to what the other team is getting or doing, and we have to continue to play our game.